Ah, okay, now I clicked on start streaming. Is it now running? Hello, hello. I see something. Is there also some... Is it now running? Hello, hello. Okay, looks good. So at least I can hear some things. Then sign into chat. Let's see if that is also working. Okay, then two-factor authentication, blah, blah. Okay. What is happening? Did it work? Not now. Not now. Hello. Okay. Test message. I think that's it. Okay, there was some microphone sound before. I heard that. And now let's simply start. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to make a live stream and show you the progress about Masamune. If there are some people joining, then feel free to interrupt me during my speech. And if you have some questions, of course, you can interrupt me as well. Other than that, I will just give a brief showcase of where I am at the moment and also what kind of features are still missing. But I'm quite happy because actually with what I had like 10 years ago, or how old is it? I need to check. Give me a moment. Where is it? This one. It's even older. Damn, I'm an old guy. It was 14 years ago. And all the features which were shown in this little video, so there was it was everything in the C++ console, so there was some dialogue system, there was an inventory system, quests were working, there was a fighting system as well, but I never finished the main quest. There was no intro scenery, no menu, no nothing, but still it was quite far, I would say, into the development. And now 14 years later and gazillions of knowledge more in my little brain, we have now this. So let me start it. I hope I have the latest version. Let me quickly update. Yep, that's working. By the way, all of that I'm showing is also working, of course, on or in the browser, thanks to TVM. And there, I hope I don't forget it, but I want to thank someone at the end of the stream. So I think it's also below in the video description of the stream, but I don't know how that works on YouTube. So basically I have no idea. And that's where, oh, it's in German. Then let me play it in the browser because then it's in English. That should be easier for you guys to understand and follow. I mean, it's nothing super crazy. It's just some text which is easier for you to understand if it's in English. So all of that you have seen before, and I think in the last video that I made on YouTube, when you pressed here, then you automatically got inside the game, and now there is something different. Wow. Okay, so that's the first draft of the main menu screen. It's not finished yet. There will be some things in the background. Currently it's just dark, but I have this logo which I want to actually flash in. So I have the shader that we developed during the Quilly Jumper project. No, was it Quilly Jumper? I think it was Quilly Jumper. Anyway, I can make this logo completely white. And my idea would be that it flashes in white and then slowly goes back to the colors that it has here. The image itself is AI generated because I would not ever be able to draw something like that. I'm not good at that. And I am reliant on those free assets. So thanks nowadays to AI stuff, I can create such things. I can create also some sound effects. And I tried out music, but music did not turn out that well. Maybe I was on the wrong side. But yeah, I use some Gen AI stuff to help out a little bit in a project with that, because I am not an artist. I cannot draw things like that. So that's it. So that's the logo here, and just some basic stuff for the main menu. There is something special. I can show you that. I make the music a little bit more quiet, because for me it's too loud. Do you still hear it then in the stream? I don't know. I make it, yeah. Let me first of all mute it here, because I want to quickly show you something. There is something special between desktop and web, because the desktop version has a quit game button where you can, as the button suggests, you can quit the game. And this button is missing in the browser. So I implemented that because first I thought maybe it would be a good idea that the quit button actually closes the game. But what does that mean in the browser? Because obviously I don't want to close the window. I think that does not make sense. That's not a good behavior. Another option would be to automatically close the tab, which I also found not that intuitive when thinking about a web application or web game. So my idea was to simply remove the button. Then, yeah, when you are in the main menu, the idea would be that all your game progress and everything is anyway already saved and stored. So when you are here, then you can also quit the game and just close the tab when you want to. Okay, then we also have now introduction cutscene, which is not finished, but for that I will make the music a little bit louder, because I'm a little bit proud of what I made so far, although it's just text. But listen to that, I make it super loud. And so the story begins. Fading out the music, and bam! We are in the games. I need to mute that. Okay, because that's too loud now. So the idea for this cutscene would be that... Let me open up the tiled browser. So the idea would be that actually in the background it will show this map here, which is the final map of the first release of the game, and the ideas that I had back then. So they are most likely the game will finish. I would have future ideas, but I don't know if I will continue working on this project. Maybe if people really love it and give a lot of feedback, then maybe I'm motivated to continue working on it. Other than that, it will be finished at the end of that specific section here. And the idea will be that the text that you have seen, all of that stays the same. The music stays the same as well. But in the background, there will be this map. I'm not sure yet, maybe with a sepia shader or a faded out version of this map. And then there will be just a camera panning or movement where it slowly goes here to the right, back to the left, back to the right, and then down to the sword here. The Masamune sword, which is in the forest. That one I drew myself. The sword I took it also from a free asset. The tree is from the tile set, but I modified it myself. So this is what I can achieve with my artistic skills, which I think it's good enough for that one, but it doesn't look perfect or very amazing. Anyway, so the idea would be that the camera then moves slowly towards here, and then the map fades out, the text fades out, the music as well, and then you are starting in the village, where currently you are in the center of the village and everything starts immediately, but I will change that as well. So my idea is, let me go back to tiled. My idea is that in the village, our hero comes most likely from the top here, maybe from the left, I'm not 100% sure, but he comes from somewhere. There will be a little bit of a pop-up text where he's proud of, I don't know, going fishing or whatever he did. And yeah, that he's now back in the village. He's very happy. And then, I don't know, maybe he noted or feels something that something is not right. And he says, let's go and talk to the elder. If his gut feelings are correct or not. And yeah, he's moving a little bit down here then this path. And then at that point, you take over as a player, and then you can go and look a little bit around in the village and do things. And there I don't show everything here because I think I showed the shops already. You know how they look and how they work. There is, I don't know if that is new, but when you take the first quest, you get the sword, the Elder Sword, and there is actually now a little bit of a pop-up when you get the specific item, and animation of the player is played as well. There's also a sound effect that we don't hear. Then I reworked the stats view. So now it's showing the total attributes here in this view. And on the right side, you see what is the base value. So for example, for Constitution, it's 2. And we have +5 because of the Elder Sword that we have equipped. For Intelligence, we have 4, which is 3 + 1. And this is how this stats view is now working. Then the inventory there, I'm not sure, but I think I showed that also in one of the videos. So there you see, currently we have the Elder Sword equipped as a weapon. And if we would remove it, we get -5 Constitution, -1 Intelligence, and -3 for attack. So you see here the stats that it gives to you. And obviously we keep it because it's better. What else do we have? I don't know if I had the quests view the last time. I show that in a moment because there's one additional quest which can also be finished already. And then there's a save button which currently doesn't do anything. It's not implemented yet. A back button to go back into the game and a quit button to go back to the main menu. So let's quickly talk to this flower girl. There is the first quest that we receive. Also, this girl now, at least at the beginning of the game, she's always healing you. So that's that little effect and the special effect and also a sound effect displayed. And it restores the hit points, so the life of the player. And I think also the mana, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think it restores both. And now that we have talked to her, I can show you the quest system or the quest view. You have an overview of completed quests. Currently we don't have any, so it shows none. And we have a list of active quests, and there you get a little bit of a summary what you should do. So for example, for the main quest, we know that we need to protect the sword with a new spell that the elder gave us, and we need to find the sword in the forest. And for the flower girl, we need to search for a specific plant because her brother is sick, and yeah, we need to bring that flower back to her. So there's a little bit of a quest log, which is also new, and I think I did not show that before. Okay, then there is a new NPC also on the path to the forest, which is that little guy here. There's also a new feature implemented, so that little dude here is actually following a path. So how does that work? So I simply used tiled for that again, where I can draw, or where I have a layer which is called path. On that path layer, I can draw arbitrary paths. I think currently it's only supports polygon images or shapes, not images, shapes. And I think that makes sense because usually you have, I don't know, a couple of corner points which define your path, and then a specific entity or character just follows that path. And on an object, so for example here, this man green, there we can define a path, which is simply an object reference in tiled. So there you really select something in the editor, a path speed, so how fast should the character follow along that specific path, and that's it. And then in the background, there is then some parsing going on where I think a path component is added and there's a path system, and then this little guy here just follows that little path here in an endless loop. I will use the same functionality then most likely for the cutscene in the forest where you find Masamune, because there will be, I spoiled that already, there will be a boss fight obviously, but before the boss fight starts, there will be a couple of characters coming into the scene, and one character will come from the top, so I will spawn him here, define a path in tiled, and then he just walks down that specific path and things like that. So there I already have the functionality available and I can reuse that, which is pretty great. And besides that, so when you talk to that little guy, I think we did that already, he talks about that he's interested in monsters, blah, blah, blah. And when you fight them, then please come back to him when you have knowledge about them. And at the beginning, he gives you this little monster book. And that monster book contains the overview of the entire enemies which are currently, or which are available in the entire game, which currently I only have 3. I have the larva, there you get some information, an image of the enemy, the name, some of its stats, and a little text. We also know about the butterfly, and there is one more enemy, the mushroom, if you remember it. And that one is currently not known to us, so it's not part of the monster book. So it's here a question mark. And of course, if I defined more enemies than in my game, they will also be listed here, and they will all be here listed as question marks until you fight them in combat. And once you fight them in combat, and you win the combat, that's the important part, then they get here updated in the monster book, and you can look again what kind of stats they have, a little bit of a story will be shown, and that's it. So that's a tiny little feature. The inspiration was actually coming from Sacred, a game that I played as a Let's Play. I don't know if the videos are still available on the channel, but yeah. In Sacred, if I remember correctly, there was also when you killed an enemy or when you just have seen them on the overworld, I don't know, then you could look at their, I think it was just some story in also, was it called Monster Book? I don't know, but there was a similar feature and I got the inspiration from that and took that over. Initially, I just showed here the monsters that you have fought and have known, but one of my beta testers, Valvorik, gave me the idea that I should simply show all of them, and the ones that you don't know yet, I should show them with a question mark, which raises then a little bit the excitement maybe of the player to, yeah, that they know, whoa, I did not find that enemy yet, what is it? And they try to make a 100% run and things like that. Great stuff. So here is this monster book thingy. When you have, I don't know, I think currently I said when you have 10 different monsters found, you can come back to him and then he will give you a little bit of a reward. Good, then everything here is the same as before. There's a little bit of a layout change, but that's it. And just to show it to you, I will fight now against these mushrooms. There is a couple of things new in the combat system. So first of all, on the left side, you have a preview of the ordering of a round. So you know that the 2 mushrooms, they will attack first and then the player will attack. The reason is that they simply have a higher agility value than the player, and that's why they come first and then the player is coming first. So that gives you a little bit of a strategic option. So that, you know, for example, I don't know, you have low health and you see that 2 enemies come first. So you might cast a healing spell because otherwise you might die And since they will definitely most likely deal damage to you, then you can react to that. So that has changed. And also the selection stuff here has changed. So before there was this little letter here, A for all target, M for multi-target, and S for single target spells. Also for items, I think I had that. That one was simply removed. So now I just show the name and the mana cost. But additionally, I have now some information text. So when you select a specific spell or item, it shows here at the top a little bit of a description, what it does, which should help, especially at the beginning, to understand what your different combat actions can achieve. And the Firebolt has this multi-target selection, so we will simply cast it on both of these mushrooms. On the left side, you see whenever an entity did something, an action, then it will get removed here, and all the other things just move up that you see who is next. And yeah, we defeated now those two mushrooms. You get some overview about experience, talents gain, what kind of enemies you have defeated. If you have a level up, it shows here as well. You also get now some attribute bonuses when you have a level up. And the important part is that now in our monster book, we now know about the mushroom, and we now have here the information what the mushroom has and a little bit of a story. Good, then what happens when you know an enemy? There's also a new feature. So now we fight against the butterflies that we already know. And now there is a health bar, which also shows the hit points of the enemy. And now let's just make a normal attack. So there you see a little bit of a faded version, like typical health bar implementation in some games. So when you deal damage, then the health bar is showing the damage amount in a grayed out version, let's say. And then it slowly... Oh, we made a critical strike. Nice luck. So we one-shotted that little guy here. And yeah, so this health bar now also helps to understand a little bit and to also help with the strategic decisions during combat. Good. Then what else did I do? As mentioned, we have this flower quest. So there I immediately go to this flower. There's also some trigger actually happening. So when you enter this map and you don't have the flower quest, then this little object here is not available. But we have the quest, so we can simply pick up now this flower. And there is a little bit of an area where you can fight some more enemies. Currently, other than that, it's pretty empty, but I will add one or two more things to this map so that it doesn't feel so empty. And here on the right side, there is the final area where this little game will then most likely end. And there is then the Masamune where you can interact with it. And the final cutscene with a boss fight. That is then the final part of the game. And yeah, since we now have this Terialis flower picked up, so that is one of the quests in the village. As you see, there is no save system yet, so the mushroom respawned in the final game. That will not be the case. So every enemy that you have defeated, they will not respawn. And then we go back to the flower girl quickly, return the flower to her. She gives us a small strength potion, which now, first of all, in the quests, moves the flower girl quest now to the completed quests. It's no longer active. We have the monster book quest here as well as an active quest. So that has updated. And in our inventory, we got a small strength potion, which increases our strength by 3, which also increases the attack. Because I think every 2 strength points increases the attack by 1. So we got that as well. And that's actually it. So I need to make a quick break. So I will stop the stream, which is also, I think, a good part because that was the showcase of what I currently have. And I am back in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. My son needs my attention. And then I will talk about some free stuff a little bit. Okay, see you in a moment.